It's tarot time.
Tonight, we unravel a story written in the quiet places we leave behind. They called him Haru Takeda, but that name had grown heavy on his shoulders. In the city, it meant discipline, reputation, perfect strokes laid down without hesitation. It meant silence at his desk long after the lamps burned low. It meant applause he never quite felt in his bones. So when he returned to the orchard, it was not courage that brought him there. It was exhaustion. The trees greeted him the same way they always had. Plum branches bent with age, bark split and rough, blossoms stubborn and pale against the early spring air. He had planted them as a boy, hands blistered, knees muddy, believing with all his heart that promises could take root if you buried them deep enough. He had not planned to stay long. Then he heard a voice.
You shouldn't step there. The roots are shallow.
Haru turned. A girl stood near the tool shed, no older than 10, holding a basket of fallen branches. Her eyes were calm, not curious, not afraid, as if she had been waiting.
I remember when they weren't.
Grandmother said they grow fragile when people stop listening to them.
That sentence landed harder than any insult he had ever received. She introduced herself as Aiko. She said her grandmother had kept the orchard alive after the old families left. She said the trees still knew who planted them. She said things as if they were facts, not poetry. Haru followed her through the rows, each step stirring memories he had carefully pressed flat for decades. He remembered running between these trunks, carving initials into soft bark, reading his words aloud just to hear them echo.
I wrote here once.
I know.
She led him to the oldest tree, its roots thick and exposed like veins. She knelt and reached beneath a hollow. When she pulled her hand back, she held a small wooden box wrapped in oilcloth, edges softened by time.
This belongs to you.
Inside were his poems, not the polished ones collectors paid for, the first ones, awkward, earnest, written by a boy who believed the world could hear him if he spoke honestly enough. Haru felt something crack.
These aren't good.
They're true. Grandmother said that mattered more.
For the first time in his adult life, he felt ashamed to be seen by a child. That night, Haru sat alone beneath the tree. The orchard breathed around him. He read the poems again, each line a reminder of a time before fear taught him to edit himself. One poem stopped him cold. It was about giving something away without expecting it back. He laughed, sharp and sudden. You fool, he whispered to his younger self. You had it right. His hands shook as he dipped his brush in ink. For the first time in years, he did not ask if the words were worthy. He asked if they were alive.
I forgot how this feels.
The next morning, Aiko found him still writing, eyes red, posture loose, pages scattered like fallen petals.
You stayed.
I remembered.
Days passed. Haru delayed his return to the city. He helped tend the orchard. He listened. He wrote when the urge came and stopped when it didn't. The pressure that had ruled his life loosened its grip. One evening, as the sun slipped behind the hills, Aiko asked him a question that felt too wise for her age.
Why did you leave the poems here?
He considered the answer.
Because I was afraid they were all I had.
She nodded, as if that made perfect sense. Sometimes gifts wait until we're brave enough to receive them. When Haru finally left, he did not take the box with him. He copied the poems by hand and returned the originals to their place beneath the tree. Some things, he understood now, were not meant to move forward. They were meant to anchor you. Back in the city, his work changed. Patrons noticed. They said his calligraphy felt warmer, less perfect, more human. Haru said nothing. He knew the truth. The Six of Cups teaches us this: the past is not a burden unless we refuse its gifts. Innocence is not lost to time. It is stored carefully by the parts of us that still believe in tenderness. We think maturity means abandoning who we were, but wisdom knows better. The past does not ask us to return. It asks us to remember what once flowed freely and why we stopped letting it. So I leave you with this question, written between then and now. What gift from your younger self is still waiting for you to accept it? Without judgment, without shame, and without delay.